Today, Precarious plays Stardew Valley!
Okay, it's
Well,
3:30. I've watered my plants. I built a silo. Time to go fishing! We're gonna go to the beach this time.
Okay. Same-sex marriage.
Oh, yeah.
This game has it. That puts it like leagues ahead of Harvest Moon and most rune factories, because as far as I can recall, there are two cases where you can... There's one case where you... No, actually, they're both approximations. There are two cases in Harvest Moon and Rune Factory... Oh, I'm sorry, there's three. Jeez, I'm messing this up. There are three... There are three situations in Harvest Moon, Story of Seasons, and Rune Factory where you can approximate a same-sex relationship, but each time it's sort of a cheat, right? And I can't imagine that feeling very satisfying to somebody that's earnestly interested in it. It's fine for me, but that's because I don't have... It's not something that's part of my everyday life, you know?
Right.
I don't have to feel like... I don't have to look at it and go, oh yeah, I guess the closest thing I can get to my real life is just a fake, even in a game. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, when it should be a situation where it's like, okay, so two people like each other and it's simple.
Yeah. So, let me explain those one at a time. In Harvest Moon, More Friends of Mineral Town for the Game Boy Advance. I believe that you could have an approximation of a same-sex relationship, but it was very limited, because More Friends of Mineral Town, I believe that you had to play as a girl, because it was supposed to be like the girl edition of the game, because it was the Game Boy Advance, and it was a long time ago, and I don't know. On the one hand, I appreciate it because at least they acknowledged that girls might want to play the game. I don't know why they didn't just release like an edition where you picked, because the Game Boy Advance, that's when I believe Pokemon just started letting you choose. I think Ruby and Sapphire were the first Pokemon games where you could just pick the gender of your character. So on the one hand, not the best, but they did, I guess, what the best they could think of at the time. And since then, Harvest Moon just lets you pick your gender, I think, all the time. Rune Factory 4 might be the first Rune Factory where you could pick, which, thinking about it now, is a little weird. Although it makes some sense for 2. Okay, I'm getting off topic. So you could have a best friend of the same gender, so one of the girls in town could move in with you, but they took the spot that was available to, I believe the marriageable bachelors, right? So
So you were best friends, but you couldn't have a husband because you were so best friends.
Yes, functionally, they took the place of your husband. But I think, I haven't done as much research as I probably should. But I think that it took the place. Like you were disallowed from having a child.
Oh.
Because they didn't think of what Stardew Valley thought of, and it's just like, fucking adopt him.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah. I mean...
So, that was in More Friends of Mineral Town. You could approximate a same-sex relationship in Rune Factory 4 in a very convoluted process that requires a lot of foresight, which I will describe now. My character, actually, in Rune Factory 4, I imagine that I am playing as, like, a lesbian warrior queen.
Uh-huh. Which is why games are wonderful, because if you want to, you can.
Well, it's just... it's fun to do stuff that's far outside your normal life, and I would have to try very, very hard. I'd have to make a lot of serious life changes to become a lesbian warrior queen.
And then what if you don't like it?
Exactly. So the point is, I wound up having, marrying, the knight in that game, Forte, who is super cool. I like her a lot. She's adorkable. She is so dweeby. Because she's very stoic and she tries to be very, like, proper and aloof. And then I'll, like, brush my hand on her cheek and she's like, that was the sound of her face just turning just red. Just beet red, just like, what do I do now? So, what you have to do to have a same-sex relationship approximation in Rune Factory 4, you have to start as the opposite gender, then you'll eventually, you'll need to, no. You start by picking the person you want to one day marry. Before you even start playing the game.
Before you know them, before you start playing the game.
Yeah. So let me give you an example. Because this just sort of evolved as I was playing the game, right? So I think that this might actually, because it's magic, because you just sort of magically, your character just magically changes gender. That's why it feels like an approximation of a same-sex relationship rather than, I guess, what it would actually be, which is a transgender individual that still maintains a sexual interest in the, maintains interest in what the social norm would describe as the usual You looked at me like,
are you gonna sort it out? Did you forget? Where is this going? Okay, so a transgender person who still is attracted to the original sex that society would say it would be the norm. Yeah. Okay. Heteronormative. There we go.
Thank you. I forgot the term.
So someone who is heteronormative and then was transgender and now is, God, so much.
From their new perspective on life, they would, to the casual observer, appear
homosexual.
Homosexual, yes.
Jesus. I'm tired now.
Well, okay, this is definitely a conversation for a different time, but
yeah.
I have a problem with some of the... Long story short, I disapprove of some of the jargonification of sex and gender.
Yeah.
And I would prefer a situation where everybody just gives everybody a chance and is cool about it.
Yeah. But more on that a different day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Long story, way short. I feel like rather than pushing for a world where you have a particular gender that it's commonly accepted that it's okay that they can do whatever they want with whatever particular gender, it'd be better if you just had people hanging out with people.
Oh, yeah.
So instead of, a lot of people argue for more specificity, and I would
argue for less.
Less, yes, much less.
Much less, just like
choices.
Oh, no.
Probably Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher. Fisher? Yeah, Fisher.
Yeah, because you don't even... Do you
See,
even know
I told you I'm good at fishing, internet. I promise. It's hard. It requires skills.